Hi guys, welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you know, in our last tutorial we had learned about the basics of Git version control system and what is the workflow for Git version control system. So in today's tutorial, it's a time to move forward to go on and install GitHub in your machine, Git in your machines, along with some basic commands. So without wasting time, we will be moving forward and try to install. I'll let you know how you guys can install Git in your PCs. Either it will be Windows or Mac or Linux. You can go on with any, up to you. So first of all, for the installation of Git in the Windows or in the Linux or in the Mac, there are some prereqs. For Mac, there is some prereqs. Windows, it's very normal. I'll let you know. First of all, just you have to go to git-scm.com/downloads. This is the website. You have to go on to that. You will find on the very basic on top 3 different variants for Git. One of them will be for Mac OS, second one will be for Windows, and third one will be for Linux or Unix. If I will talk about Windows, it's very basic and very easy. First of all, you have to check if your operating system, either it's 32-bit or 64-bit. If it's 32-bit, download the 32-bit software setup.exe file, or it's 64-bit, download 64-bit exe file. It's .exe file. Once you will run it as an administrator, just click on next with default setting for the meantime, and Git will be there in your PC very easily. In case still you guys are facing any error for the installation of Git in your machine, Windows machine, you can comment us in the same video. I will personally come and help you out for the installation of Git in your machine. Second thing, for the Mac. For the Mac, there are 3 main things that you need or you require. One of those 3 things for the installation of Git in your Mac OS. First of all, the first one is Homebrew. If you have Homebrew installed in your PC, it will be very easier for you to install Git. Second thing, you can use instead of Homebrew, Yum as well. Third thing is Mac ports. Mac ports you can use as well, but I will not recommend you to go on with Mac ports because it's a bit tricky, and in beginner, I will highly recommend you to go on with Homebrew. So for the installation, if in case Homebrew is even not installed, if you will come to your terminal and you will say like sudo brew, brew, brew and -v, you have to write this. If my Homebrew is 4.1.0. In case Homebrew is not installed in your machine, you have to go to directly brew.sh website and simply copy this command, and you have to paste it in your terminal by using sudo and give the machine password. It will install Homebrew in your PC. Once Homebrew is installed, you can just simply copy this command, brew install git, like this, brew install git. It will help you for the installation of Git. As per my scenario in my machine, Git is already installed, but still I will run this command to make sure that Git is already there in my machine. So once this command will allow you to fetch a lot of different dependencies that Git use for the installation in your machine. So all of them will be downloaded and executed in your machine, and the GitHub will appear in your machine. Let's wait and try to move forward until it's done. That's it. It will consume some time for the installation. It depends upon totally your machine, your internet. If it's taking a lot of time, in my case, I believe it will take much time in your case as well for the installation. But have patience. Try to let it to be installed totally in your machine with all the dependencies and everything, and let's see how things will go. And here we go. GitHub is installed already in our machine. So let's verify sudo git minus. Let me just clear it for meantime so you guys can see it very easily. Sudo, I'll say git -v. I can check the version for my Git. So it's saying sudo git -v. So you guys can see the version of my Git is 2.47.0. So up to you which version you guys are installing and when you guys are installing, it's up to you. But by default, it will install the latest version for the stable release of Git in your Mac. So once this is installed in your machine, either it's Mac or it's Windows or Linux, Unix, I will show you that as well. You have to simply use apt-get that install the apt-get and install Git. It will simply install for you Git in your PC, or you can use Yum as well. or DNF as well, up to you. See, anything, just you have to write install in git, yum install git, DNF install git, emerge ask version. Just neglect this Gentoo. Normally people, they are not using that one. OpenSHU also, normally people, they are using Fedora or Ubuntu or NetBeans, so you can easily get installed with these commands, git in your Linux or Unix. Or after that you have to just write sudo git -v, it will give you the version for your git. In terms of Windows, you have to open PowerShell. In terms of Mac, I'm using Terminal, so I will be using Terminal here for the verification and all that stuff. So after installation of Git, second thing is you need to have some sort of programming tool. So I will be using Xcode for that, Visual Code for that. People, some of them, they are using Xcode. Anything you can use, up to you, whatever the editor you are using or any kind of software you're using. People, they are using Notepad as well. Some of them, they use I will personally recommend you to go on with Visual Code like this one. I had installed it in my PC already. You guys, it's up to you. You can go on and install any kind of programming software you want to install in your PC that will allow you to write code. So in my case, I had installed this one. So let's go ahead and try to create a new file on desktop. There is Git GUI already. Let's open this one. I will be using this as a working directory. Let's say, as I will say, this trust this author. So this is my actually working directory or working workspace. So here I will be creating all the files, whatever the program I will be writing. Either I will be creating React project, Node project, PHP Laravel project, Python Django project, any XYZ project I'm going to make, I will be creating inside this folder only, and this folder is the one that will be connected to Git, and I will let you know how it will work. So let's move forward to our after the installation. What is the thing we have to go on with? 3-4 things now. Let's say in our installation we have to have you can see in my screen there is one box that is covering up untracked file, tracked files or committed file. So in today's tutorial we will be covering these steps. I will let you know how you can go on with these steps. First of all, you have to create a working directory and you have to open that in your workspace. So this is my workspace or working directory. I had opened already my Git working directory inside my Visual Code. I had opened that one. So secondly, I need to know the untracked files. Before going to know about untracked files, I have to initialize Git in my directory. In this directory, how can I initialize? For that one, let me clear this one. For that one, what I have to do here is I have to go on CD, change directory. How can I change directory? In my root folder, there is desktop. Inside desktop, I created a new directory called GitHub. Okay, so see, this is GitHub. So I can do one thing. I will create one file here for your understanding. Let's say I will say index.html is the file. Okay, let's say HTML is the code inside this file. Let's say this is the file and I will say it's GitHub. So this is one file inside this directory. If I will go to my terminal, I will say ls. You guys can see index.html is appearing where? Inside my terminal. So first of all, what I have to do here is I have to do git init. Git init will allow me to initialize an empty Git repo in my machine. Okay, it will allow me to create an empty Git repo, or it is responsible for committed file, for untracked file, for tracked files, for stack of files, or for local repository. Everything is inside this Git. So if I will see here, say initialized empty Git repository in user desktop with .git. So I had created as soon as I did git init, the Git had created an initialized an empty Git repo inside the Git folder named as .git. Dot is used for hidden folders. Normally you will not see this folder. If you want to see, it's up to you. You can check in Google how you can go on to check the hidden files in your folder. In my case, it's already appearing. I'll show you guys. See, inside my Git there is an .git folder appearing also already. So if I will come here, you guys can see here also index.html is appearing, but .git is not appearing because that's the hidden file. So if I will check git status, okay, that's the second command. So you guys can see my git is saying there is one untracked file. You have one file you had created, index.html, but that is not in the remote structure or not in your local repository. That is not totally tracked until now. Okay, how you can track this file? Let's go back to our presentation. So we had known of the status. By using git status command, we can know the status of any file. Either we had changed it or no, either it's inside our local repo or no, or if it's new created or no. So by using status command, each single file you will be understanding how it will be done. So what are untracked file, what are tracked file, you can identify by using git status command. Any file I had created, let's say I will go on to my terminal. I will say git add. Okay, this add will allow me, if I'll go here, this add will allow me, this is the add command, sorry, this is the add command. It will allow me to keep track of the changed files or updated files or created files. So I can use add. After that you can use dot. If you are using dot, it means put all the change, updated, deleted files, or any changes has been done, identify and put it inside the track. If you don't want to add all, you can specifically name index.html also if you want to add just one file inside the tracking directory or tracking folder. If you want multiple, just you have to add space and file b.abc, any name, whatever you want to put. And then if you want 3 files, then again put space and the third file name. Up to you, whatever you want to do. In case you want all HTML files, so you have to write static.html. So all the files, those have an HTML extension, will go inside the tracked folder if they are changed. So let's say in our case it's I want all, it's index.html already, so I will do add dot. So now I will check again the sudo git status and let's see how it will appear. So let me say I am writing sudo. Now the index.html file, before it was in red and under untracked files, very sorry, under untracked files, now it's appearing inside tracked files. So see, changes to be committed. This is tracked file and this is newly created file index.html. So I had tracked all my files and it's inside staging now. It's in the second step now under tracked files. Now how can I put them in my local directory? So before adding them to the local directory, you need to know about one thing more, that is called config. So I'll say sudo git config. So it will tell you, for example, I want to upload this code to somewhere in remote repository. That repository is which repository? I need to know that one as well. So for that one, I need username and password for those repository also. So those will be created here, from the configuration file of git. So if I will say sudo git config, so sudo git config user dot email, in my case user dot email is jawadrana2015@gmail.com. so you can add your own email address, whatever you want to add. Okay, in case of username, very sorry, you have to add email and username here. So first of all we had added email, secondly will be username. So that will be, for example, in my case jawadrana365. So up to you, you can add anything, whatever you like. Sudo git config user.email, and then in inverted commas you can add your email, and then sudo git config user.username, and you can add your username there. So when you are pushing the code to GitHub, it will ask you just password and it will go to your remote directory. We will understand that later, but right now what I want is I want to add this in the configuration file. Why? Because I want to keep track on the commits I want, which email is doing or which user has doing those commits. These two commands config you have to do one time only. After that it will go inside the configuration file, and you are not allowed, or you are allowed to do, actually you can update them later on, but it's not required to update always or to give the username or email information always. So after adding this configuration information, now you have to do here is you have to pass your staged files or tracked files inside the Git local repository. How you can do that is by using git command commit command sudo git commit -m, and here I will say my first commit. That comment in inverted commas you can add any whatever you like. I had added my first commit. So as soon as you will hit enter, your one file that is changed is moved to where? To your local repository with specific commit. How you can get the status now? Let's say sudo git status. What is the status now? Now the status is your working directory is clean. There is nothing you have to push. If I will go on to my sudo git log, I want to know the logs. You can see I had committed one commit only. That random streak indicate that the ID of that commit, and it's being done by Jawad Rana 365. This is my email and which date I had committed this, and what is the command or what is the comment of that commit. So I can identify if I have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 commits by using git log command. Until now, how many commands we had learned? We had learned sudo git config, we had learned git init, we had learned git add, we had learned git commit and git log. 5 commands we had learned already. Let's move forward to our code and try to add another file. Let's say I will say server.js, and inside server.js I said console.log, and that is I am a server. I will just add few data here, and I have to add this server inside my directory also. How I can do that? So for that one, what I have to do here is if I will go sudo git status now. So you guys can see, git status, let's say. Very sorry. You guys can see on master branch, we have an untracked file that is server.js that is newly created, and that is not available in our tracked files, and that is not available in our local repository. This is what GitHub is saying. Let's say sudo add server.js. Just add this file inside where sudo git add server.js. So let's say we had added this file inside our tracked file. Now if I will check the status, you guys can see this file is already inside the tracked files, but that is not inside our local repository until now. So how we can add that in our local repository? And local repository, I will just say sudo git commit -m, and I will say the commit is second commit. Okay, so this file will go inside my local repository now. So if I will say sudo git log, so you guys can see now in log I have 2 commits. One of them is with my second commit, one of them is with my first commit. Each one have their own random string ID. The head is currently in this commit, means that's the latest code, we have it in our local machine. This is how you can go on with very basic and initial understanding of your Git architecture. So what you have learned here is how we can create the working directory, how we can keep track of untracked files, how we can pass those to tracked files, how we can pass those files from tracked file to local repository. So until now we had learned what? We had learned git init, we had learned git config, we had learned git status, then we had learned git add command. In git add command, -a stands for all, or you can add dot as well. Static.js means all files those have JS extension. Static means totally all files, or file name means whatever any file you want to add. These are the available options inside add. Then sudo commit -m will give you the commit, and inside inverted commas you can add your comment to pass the files inside your local directory and git log. So these are very basic and very easy normal 6 commands of Git. Normally you will be using 5 of them always. One of them is config, that will be first time you will be using. After that it's not required. So I hope you guys understand it. In case of any question, any query in these 4 or 5 commands, you can comment us. You can reach us to our mailbox as well. So I'll see you in the next video with the next topic of GitHub. And please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Goodbye.